High value Sigma male. Speaking on behalf of the people, I would say it's a combination of a high value man and a Sigma male put together. I believe a high value man is very similar to what Kevin Samuel says, but there's also different opinions. But the main conclusion is that a high value man is rare. It takes a lot to accomplish and it takes time to become a high value man. A Sigma male is someone who's just below an alpha male but above a beta male.
Not necessarily. So from the high value male thing, the last time that we spoke, I told you that I agreed with Kevin Samuel's synopsis of it, but I felt like some of the points were a little bit rigid, like the $100,000 cap for the year. I feel
Mhm.
like a person who makes $70,000 can live the exact same life as a person who makes $100,000. So if that line is that skewed to where they're literally doing the exact same thing, then I got to consider that 70,000 earner as long as he's on his purpose, has the same charisma, has the same drive, has the same this, has the same that, then they're both considered high value. Somebody with 50,000 can be investing better than a person with 100,000 and turn his 50,000 into 200,000 the next year, and the person can lose a whole 100,000 the following year. So it's more parameters that have to be set as far as to what a high value man is. And when I look at it, I look at the longevity of it. It's not
Mhm.
about today. It's not about yesterday. It's about tomorrow, and it's about projections. Like when we were talking and when we were talking about finances, and I showed you my extra debit card, and I told you that every single time that I pay for something, I get an on time payment on all three credit bureaus. So let's say that I get a late payment next month. That's going to tank my score about 5, 10, maybe 20 points. But I know that with that card, I can just make 3 or 4 payments and curve out the one payment that was late. And then I know that the ratio of it is going to remain a good ratio while I'm still disputing the late payment to make sure that it's valid, and then still write my goodwill letters to get it off since it's just one. Having that knowledge and being able to pass that down to my children, to my significant other, to my business partners, to my friends, to my loved ones, that's a high value conversation.
I see what you're saying. Longevity, right? And to Kevin Samuel's point, he does say you have to make at least 10,000 adjusted to your city. So, 100,000 in New York City isn't really 100,000 compared to like 100,000 in like Texas or something like that. I think if you're like New York City, 100,000 is more to like 150,000 or something. It just depends on your city. But also with that, he was saying for at least 5 to 10 years. So there's that aspect of like longevity to it. And to your example, that mindset you have when it comes to like being financial savvy is one of those high value traits that men should have when it comes to that longevity aspect, because you could have $1 million today and then lose it tomorrow. So without that longevity aspect, without that financial savviness, you're never going to be a high value man.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. It's business decisions that I've made 10 years ago that I'm not going to say I regret doing, but
Mhm.
I've learned from it, and I realize exactly what, like, I'll give you an example. We bought a family house in Douglasville for $280,000, and then my mom sold it for four something, almost a half a million. And in her eyes, that was the greatest thing ever because it was a six-figure flip. In my eyes, that was the stupidest thing that we ever could have done because that house is probably worth either 7 or 8 right now, and is going to be worth 1 point something in the next 2, 3 years.
It's still a net positive when you look at it, but in terms of how much you could have gained, it was definitely missed out. But that also comes down to, everybody's situation. Maybe I don't know if she needed the money right away for in that instance, but I think the mindset of like building generational wealth is something we need to have too when it comes to, being financial savvy and high value.